You are listening and watching to a very special podcast. Alright, today I'm going to tell you guys about the origin story of Phenomenon Serendipity. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this, but I'm going to finally tell the story. Maybe I might have written it down in a slideshow video, but this time I'm going to do it right. Hopefully. So, when I was a kid, I was really fascinated in the idea of a crossover. And I've always wanted to make my own. Ever since I saw crossovers such as the cartoon All Stars, where the mascot cartoons like TMNT, which is short for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, um, and other cartoons that you guys know of, help these kids not to take drugs. Yeah, there was like a campaign for that. Um, what was the second crossover? Oh yeah, when my brother was younger, my older brother, he was playing this game that seemed pretty ordinary, and it was called Kingdom Hearts. So I'm like, oh, Kingdom Hearts, I wonder what this is. But then the strangest thing happened, and I discovered the Disney characters were in there too, and also characters I never even heard of, but I eventually found out they were from Final Fantasy. So what happened was, um, I was really fascinated in seeing this, and it had a bit of humor, it had a bit of good tones, and it had a really great storyline, and these weird creatures that looked cute, but they were pretty deadly, and they were known as Heartless. Then in the sequel, there were Nobodies, and then, yeah, it was pretty cool. But before Kingdom Hearts, or maybe in between, I discovered another crossover, and it was Batman meets Superman. You know, the animated series. I'm pretty sure maybe they might have met in the comics, but this was the first time I ever seen them in the 1990s. It was so cool. Like the way Batman and Superman didn't get along at first. But then eventually they team up and they started to get along a bit better because, you know, they became quite close friends. And ever since I saw a lot of crossovers in my life, including some live action ones and some really awesome ones, I was like, okay, I'm hooked. I'm going to create my own crossover. And when I was a kid, I made up these fantasies. Like, I was a big fan of my own anime that was for kids, and it was just so thrilling and so amazing that I could write something. But then I kind of had a mental breakdown, and I don't know what really happened. I just ripped it all and I just threw it away. But somehow those childhood fantasies that I had written down, they stayed with me in my memory, and I began to write them again, but as different people. But anyway, so what happened was I decided to do Phenomenon Serendipity. But before I came to that title, it was originally known as Replica Ringer and sometimes Double Walker. So what happened was I was very inspired by the five characters plot. Like, I saw this movie called Sucker Punch in trailers. I didn't actually go see the movie theater, but eventually after it came out and after I saw some pretty cool scenes, I was like, oh my god, that is so radical. I just thought it was so cool just seeing it. And all these girls, and I find out what happens in the movie, and yeah, it was pretty sad. So I was pretty devastated because I came up with this idea, like, Sucker Punch was really a movie, but imagine if I could use those characters in my crossover. I mean, I don't want to like take advantage of people, but I just want to, I thought those girls were really cool. But then I thought, wait, I'm using somebody else's material. I gotta like start my own thing. So I did. And I created characters and in my own vision. I also created 5 other guys. And also, I began to develop a lot of stuff in my stories. And also, I created a character who discovers that she has a twin sister who is really evil, or perhaps a doppelganger. It was the original, so I was like, whatever. And what happened was, like, I created my doppelganger to torture the anime characters, and they also create the characters that I've created. But then all of a sudden I was like, wait, it was a really cool storyline, but I added some fanfic like graphics of, crushes and loves and all that other stuff. So I'm like, wait, this is a